Hi, my name's Ian Croad. I'm the Joint Chief Exec. I've been involved with the club now for 35 years. Started on the terraces at Thrum Hall back in the 80s, old winter rugby. As a fan, then as a sponsor maybe 10 years ago. Joined the board 5 years ago and was lucky to become Chief Exec joint with Tony last year. Yeah, I'm quite lucky in my job. I travel the world and I always come back and class Halifax as my home. Halifax is full of good, honest, hard-working people, and that's the ethos of Halifax Rugby League: good, honest, hard-working people behind the scenes, making this club better. As a club, Halifax, it means everything. To say that we work hard behind the scenes, people are probably not aware that we put a lot of hours in, unpaid, to try and get Halifax back to where they belong. Halifax needs to be back on the big stage, and myself and the rest of the board are totally committed to getting the club back to where it belongs, right at the top of the table. And you know what? We won't stop. We won't stop until that happens. My favourite all-time player, that I can't single anyone out. Probably back in the 80s when I think we had 13 Australians. I mean, the board at that time made a decision to bring in 13 or 14 Australian players. And at that time, it was a different culture. You could go out and you could drink around the town with the players and get to know them. They were normal people. I think the guy that stands out the most in that era was Chris Anderson. He was just a party animal, but on the field, what a general. He was just a gentleman and a leader on the field, and he took Halifax to that next level, and that's what we need to do again. We need to take Halifax to another level. I've got quite a few actually, but I think the one that sticks out the most is the 1987 Challenge Cup final when Mark Elia was going to score the winning try, minutes to go. Everybody was on the feet. We were in front. I can't remember the score. I think it was about 13, 18-13 or something. Anyway, Mark Elia was racing over the line. Everybody leapt to their feet because I couldn't actually see where I was because I was behind the player. But Mark Elia dived over the line, and as he went to put the ball down, I think it was John Pendlebury came in from the side and smashed the ball out of his hands, and he landed on the ground without the ball. And I remember John Holsworth, his arms going like that, when he waved his arms to no try, the whole of the Halifax end, it was just, well, I was crying, I was in tears. It was just the most emotional, fantastic moment, never be repeated. It was stunning. No, it was just stunning. I think the club is doing everything right behind the scenes. We've got the right people, the right coaching staff. We've got rehab coaches, we've got physios, we've got all the technical ingredients that's needed behind the scenes, and we've got a coach with a real aura, a real presence. And what's needed now is, I remember back in the 80s on a Friday night being up at Thrum Hall watching what was then the A team, which is the reserve team. There was 2,500 people on a Friday night watching the reserve. So there is people in the town that want to watch rugby, and unfortunately at the moment we're only getting 2 to 2,500 at a first team game. What I want to see is, I want to see 10,000 people in the Shea. I want to see 10,000 people out of a population of 150,000. And if we can generate the interest and get the people back, that will give the club the financial platform to go up step by step and get back to where we belong, back at the top. So for 2014, we're introducing a new members scheme which anybody can be involved in. It's not a huge amount of money. We want the whole town to get behind it. We want the school children, the junior schools, the senior schools. We've also got the Cool Cats Club, which we are currently going out to. I think there's 96 primary schools in Calderdale, probably about 30,000 kids. We've got players going out. We've got a new membership scheme which gives you discount in the shops in the town. It gives them free access to the ground on match days. We're also launching a new training incentive where the amateur teams in Calderdale, there's probably 17 clubs in Calderdale, and we need to be closer to these guys, and the coaching staff are actively going to go to each club and do a full-on first team training session with the club, and then afterwards stay behind and break off and train all the individual age groups at the club to try and get the kids involved, hand out the Cool Cats membership, because at the end of the day the interest is there because these kids are playing rugby, and we want these kids to come down to the Share, bring the families down, grow the club, because next year is important, but it's also about the year after. The year after is going to be huge. There's massive changes coming, and we want to be structurally sound to go forward.